Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie Willis. I'm a literacy and media specialist in Northern New Jersey. I also run an Instagram account called @the_literacy_party where I recommend children's picture books, sometimes middle grade novels, and share how you can use them with your students or your children at home. I am so incredibly and unbelievably obsessed with children's picture books. I actually recently just started a picture book club where teachers, educators, librarians, parents come together and we talk all about picture books. It meets on the third Tuesday of the month. I feature a few books as well as the other people attending are able to share book recommendations that are new and timely as well. Actually, the Picture Book Club really inspired me to start this new series on my channel called the Read Aloud Party. The Read Aloud Party is going to be a place where I will share Picture Book Club recommendations, books by specific themes, new books, and books that I just absolutely adore and think that you should either have in your classroom or your home libraries and adore them just as much as I do. Okay, so without any further ado, I am going to share with you the 3 books that I featured for the February Picture Book Club. The first one I featured is Eyes That Kiss in the Corners, written by Joanna Ho. This is an unbelievably beautiful book, and it was recently published on January 5th, 2021. The second book that I featured is called Outside Inside by Lewin Pham. Another absolutely gorgeous book, also published January 5th, 2021. And the third book that I featured is Ambitious Girl, written by Mina Harris. This book was published on January 19th, 2021. So most of these are, or all of these are extremely current, and I'm going to share with you how you can use them with your students. The one thing I want to mention, I created a note-taking little graphic organizer for you. I linked it below. It's free. Basically, it just allows you to kind of collect notes from what I share and also write down your own ideas about how you might use these books in your classroom or with your little ones that you may have at home. All right, so for our first book, we have Eyes That Kiss in the Corner, as I mentioned, by Joanna Ho. You will notice I have a post-it on here. This is actually part of the free resources that are included when you join my Picture Book Club and attend the Picture Book Club meetings. I do have it linked below if you would like a copy through my Teachers Pay Teachers store, but it's for an interactive read aloud guide that I will talk about in just a minute. I first want to share with you a little bit about this book called Eyes That Kiss in the Corners. So this little girl on the cover of the story realizes that her eyes are a little different from her peers. And you might think in the beginning of the story that she's upset or jealous or feels, left out. But this book is a celebration of how her eyes are different from her peers, but also a celebration of her family, her history, her culture, and tradition. It is such a beautiful book. I'm going to share with you some of my favorite pages. Here we go. My eyes crinkle into crescent moons and sparkle like the stars. Gold flecks dance and twirl while stories whirl in their oolong pools, carrying tales of the past and hope for the future. My eyes find mountains that rise ahead and look up when others shut down. My lashes curve like the swords of warriors, and through them I see kingdoms in the clouds. My eyes that kiss in the corners and glow like warm tea are a revolution. Oh, I don't know how you couldn't love this book. So, such a beautiful book paired with beautiful, beautiful illustrations by Dung Ho. And I'm going to share a little bit about some themes and lessons that you can pull out with your students from this book, as well as ideas for using it in your classroom or with your little ones at home. So I wrote down there's a theme of love and self-love, the theme of family and hope, self-acceptance, and then some lessons are everyone's beautiful in their own way, be who you are and be you. Also, some ideas of how you could use this with your children. You can use it as an interactive read aloud, which I have created for you. It is linked below in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. Basically, you have these printable little Post-its that embed literacy skills throughout the book. You know, on the cover, you're making a prediction and thinking about symbolism. You talk about descriptive language and inferences, synthesizing, making connections, making another connection, symbolism again. We also have lesson at the end, reaction to the story, talking about character traits and comparisons. All of those are included in this interactive read aloud guide. You simply print it out, attach the Post-its, run it through your printer again, and you will have embedded literacy skills that you can leave in your book and tuck away year after year. They're really great for creating discussion around a story. So you can check that resource out below. Okay. Another thing that you can do with this story, it has opportunities for meaningful discussions. You can talk about what makes you special, unique, different, how to celebrate yourselves. With my first and second graders, I had them talk about a trait that was, you know, gone through their family, how their characteristics are similar with some people in their families, and they got to talk about that, which was really fun. And, you know, sharing things that make you unique. Okay, so for our next book that I'm going to share with you today, we have Outside In by Lewin Pham. This is such a beautiful book as well. I'm a real sucker for the pictures. I honestly, when they say don't judge a book by its cover, that's what I do, exactly. If the cover is beautiful and the pictures are beautiful, I'm just like such a sucker for it because, you know, picture books are they're called picture books for a reason, and they're just so much about the pictures and the illustrations. So, okay. This story is written by Lewin Pham. She is the illustrator for the Princess in Black series. And, you know, there were a ton of books published kind of very quickly through this pandemic. I think that goes to show you how many people use picture books to talk about things that are difficult or use them as conversation starters with their children. That there was such a rush of picture books coming out of this pandemic. I can't tell you how many people messaged me to ask me to review their like coronavirus, pandemic, germ, mask books. And I really think that this one is the best, if not one of the best books that have been written about the pandemic. The goal of Lewin was to create a time capsule of 2020 into 2021. And she also wanted it to be a tribute to the pandemic heroes. And what she did, the way this book started was she started sketching as a way of coping with everything that was going on during the pandemic. So she would sketch little things that she saw around her neighborhood, in the news. And her sketches, you know, became like turned into a story, and that's how she created Outside Inside. It's a huge tribute to, as I mentioned, pandemic heroes, and it's a really good way to kind of check in with your students, and that's how I plan to use this in March, kind of like the anniversary of us going home. I know that sounds strange, probably. From school, and you know, our worlds being completely turned upside down, and you know, also just a way to touch base with my kids, see how they're feeling. And you know, so many people had such great loss throughout this pandemic, but she also talks about, you know, the silver linings. One of the quotes I pulled out of here that I wanted to share with you, it says, while the world changed outside, we became stronger inside. And I know that's true for so many people. Some of the themes from this book are kindness, humanity, honestly, so many themes you can touch on: love and friendship, courage, hope, responsibility, bravery, survival, compassion, perseverance. I want to share a little spread with you from this book, just to give you a glimpse at the pictures in here. So on the outside, we're all different. And then on the inside, we're all the same. So it's really beautiful. There was one other page I wanted to share with you. I am local in New Jersey to Morris County, and actually our hospital, there was a photograph taken from the Morris Town Memorial Hospital of this older man holding a sign up to the hospital window saying, "Thank you all for saving my wife's life." And she used so many things that were around her, but also in the media, to share in this story, and it's just so beautiful. Some of the things that I might do with my students is pair this with nonfiction articles, maybe with some of the older kids, books about heroes and the essential workers that worked through this, and really share about how important they are for our community. I would use it to talk about silver linings, like what was the positive that came out of this, and talking, about how it's just been so incredibly challenging, how people experienced immense loss, and use it again as a check-in. I created a resource for you, linked below, and again, free if you're part of the Picture Book Book Club, that gives you the opportunity, and your students the opportunity, to really just write and draw about some of the things that they might have experienced throughout the pandemic. So draw a picture of something new you learned, tried, or made. How did you see others being heroes? How were you a hero to somebody else? Draw and write about a positive experience this year. Draw a picture and write a letter thanking a pandemic hero. All options for ways for you to kind of reflect and check in with your students. And that brings us to our third and final book for the Read Aloud party for now. It is a story called Ambitious Girl. So this story is written by Mina Harris. Harris probably sounds familiar. It is written by Mina Harris, who happens to be the niece of Kamala Harris, our new vice president. Mina Harris also, her grandmother was a civil rights activist. So Mina Harris comes from a line of strong, ambitious women, and she is an incredible author and New York Times bestselling author too. She wrote this book about a little girl who sees, comes from a line of strong, ambitious women, and sees a woman being strong and ambitious, being called too assertive, too persistent, too loud, too this, too that, too confident, and can't understand why anyone would use that to demean her, to kind of knock her down. When, her whole life she's seen all of these strong women doing incredible things and wondering why anyone would see those as negative characteristics. So she goes through and learns about the challenges for women throughout history and up until today. And the story talks about how we can reframe those words that people use against us or to knock us down, and use them to build ourselves up. So one of my favorite spreads from this book is right here. It says, "No one can tell me who I am or who I'm meant to be. Auntie says what has always been is all they're able to see. I'll take my time and claim my place and show the world this is me. Persistent, assertive, confident, proud. Persistent means I won't give up. Assertive means I won't back down. Confident means I believe in me. And proud means I cheer for us, the world around us." A really, really great book about being you, self-love, courage, hope, bravery, perseverance, being ambitious. I included with this resource some discussion questions that you can work with your kids at home or in your classroom for before reading, during reading, and after reading. And I also included a little activity where your children or students could write about one of those words that maybe someone's used on them to knock them down, and how they can turn that into your superpower. So the example that I gave is when I was little, I was always, too shy. And I would get that on my report card. She's too shy. She needs to talk up. But when I think about the positive aspects of being too shy, I think about how I'm a good listener and a good friend. And I always know what the directions are, because I was never the one talking out of turn. Being respectful often, if you're shy, you're hopefully showing respect to other people's at that time. Maybe not always, but so taking something negative that someone has said to you or about you and flipping it around, like the girl does in the story. And it's a great introduction to Women's History Month, and pairing with International Women's Day and talking about all of the strong, powerful women in this country and the world, and all the incredible challenges and things that they have had to overcome. So another fabulous, fabulous book from the February Picture Book Club. So I hope you enjoyed my featured books for the month. If you're interested, I'll put a link below if you want to join the Picture Book Club. That's how you get the resources for free. But also, it's a really great way to connect with people who love children's literature. I really hope that you come along and check it out. And if you want daily recommendations, you can follow me on Instagram at The Literacy Party. And message me. I'd love to hear from you if you decide to purchase these books, or, use them in your classroom in another way. I'd love to hear how you're doing that. And stay tuned for my next Read Aloud Party YouTube video. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. You can like this video, subscribe. You can even turn on those notifications so that you know about the next Read Aloud Party. Thanks for watching.